What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel. Today we're for a new Madden 22 realistic rebuild. This time we are with the New York Jets, 2-7 out of a Week 11 game. And the Jets are an interesting team. I like to do the Jets because I wanted to do a team that might be in contention for the #1 overall pick. We've already done the Lions rebuild. We haven't done a Texans rebuild yet. I was thinking about it. Between the Texans and the Jets, constantly popping up in the comments, and I feel like I'm more intrigued with the Jets because we have Zach Wilson in the Eagles franchise, and I'm just curious as to what kind of ceiling does Zach Wilson have right now? What can I picture and know is the pace car that is set for Zach Wilson for our Eagles franchise? If Zach Wilson kind of slows the star out at 84, 85 overall star dev, something like that, then we know we got our work cut out for us in the Eagles franchise. So that's kind of entertaining. Plus the fact I do think between the Jets, the Texans, and the Lions, the Lions just got that tie. But, those are going to be teams that are going to be fighting for contention for the #1 overall pick. Jets have 2 first-round picks from that Jamal Adams compensation trade. It's good. I'm excited for the Jets here. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting rebuild. So here's what I'm going to do, fellas. If this video, like goals, we've been shattering them, and I very much appreciate those. If we can get 1,500 likes on today's video, which is, what, Thursday? I will have a new second realistic rebuild drop this week on Sunday. 100%, 50. I'll work overtime. My plan right now, I have my schedule up there. I don't got room for another realistic rebuild, but I was like, you know what? If the people show love, I'll show that love back. 1,500 likes, and there will be a new realistic rebuild. Drop it either Saturday or Sunday, most likely on Sunday. So for this Jets team, let's take a look at this roster here. It's probably not a great roster, but it is what it is. We have Zach Wilson just coming back from injury. I think they just announced that Joe Flacco is starting in real life this game here against the Dolphins. But I'm going to go Zach Wilson. We got to give him as many reps as possible. He's a 72 hidden dev, cannon of an arm. I think there is the makings of a franchise quarterback there still, even though there was one good game from Mike White, and it felt like all of New York shifted on Zach Wilson. He's still a very talented quarterback. And there's some interesting pieces around him. You look at the running backs, there's nothing special here, but I like Michael Carter. That 1-2 punch of Michael Carter and Javonte Williams in North Carolina was amazing. I'll tell you this right now. If Michael Carter at any point in this rebuild, especially year 1, 2, or 3, gets a dev trade scenario to get off that normal dev, I'm hopping in, I'm going to get it for him. At least I'm going to try to get him. It's not an automatic guarantee that I will get it, but I want to make him a franchise running back for us. I think he's a really, really good football player. Maybe I don't like him as much as Javonte Williams, but that's just different strokes, different folks. If you like broken tackles and angry runs with Kyle Brandt, you're going to like Javonte Williams. If you like a guy that is more of a do-it-all back, that can catch the ball in the backfield consistently, can do it, line up in the slot even, you're going to be more so sided with Michael Carter. I think Michael Carter, very talented running back. And there's something there if we can get him a dev trade. This Ty Johnson guy's been actually solid this year as well. You have the veterans, and you got Pirine, Florida Gator. He's really good at Florida. But, the running back room is Michael Carter. Wide receivers, so we have Jamison Crowder, who might be one of the most underrated, disrespected wide receivers in the NFL. I think he's a top 5 slot wide receiver, at least fringe. There may be some guys now that play in the slot that aren't necessarily pure slot guys. I think for pure slot guys, we think of the Cole Beasleys, and you think the Julian Edelmans. Crowder, even going back with Washington, man, he was so damn good. But, unfortunately, they already drafted his replacement in Elijah Moore. He's younger, save dev trade. So I think, I don't know if there's going to be I don't know where he's at in terms of his contract. He might be a guy, though, that could be an interesting trade piece for us in this offseason. They paid big bucks to get Corey Davis over from the Titans after a breakout year last season, where I think he went over 1,000 yards with the Titans, right? Almost. He's good. Corey Davis is solid, and I think Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, you got Denzel Mims here. He's still pretty much in a wait and see. But I think for sure between Elijah Moore and Corey Davis, we have 2 big-time wide receivers that are going to be, key pieces for this offense, for this rebuild. And I think maybe we look in the offseason at shifting Jamison Crowder for another player at a weaker spot for our team, or draft picks. Or tight end, because our tight ends suck. There's absolutely nothing there at tight end, unfortunately. So that is a position we need to try to address early, sooner than later. Big Ticket is out for the year, but we're going to be excited getting him back next season. He might be... you ask someone right now, you're starting a team, and you need, your franchise tackle. You can pick any franchise tackle in the NFL. Becton might be the guy that gets picked because he's only 22. You can't teach 6'7". You can't teach 365. You can't teach his athletic profile. Evan Neal's going to be coming out of Alabama in the league. Very similar, but I think, they're a set-and-forget player for this rebuild left tackle. Left guard, set and forget player. AVT's been outstanding as a rookie, one of the best rookies in the NFL, regardless of position. So I really just think that left-hand side of this offensive line, set and forget for this rebuild. But center, you got McGovern, who's solid, kind of expensive. They made the trade to get Laurent Duvernay-Tardif from the Chiefs, again at 30. Plus, he's only on a one-year deal, more of a Band-Aid at this point. I might re-sign him for one more year until we can properly upgrade the offensive line. And then again, at right tackle, you got... I'll tell you right now, we don't need to get rid of him. I actually think we have to hold on to him right now because Mekhi Buck. But like, that's a horrific contract for George Fan. I am going to be very quickly to get rid of that in the offseason so we free up some available salary cap. But point being, really outside of, you know, big ticket and AVT, a lot of work needs to be done on this offensive line. Defensively, gets a little bit better. They got Vinny Curry. Actually, you know, hopefully he heals up. He had something kind of crazy. I can't remember exactly what it was. A medical issue. He was great with Philadelphia. Big-time player for us. Always very underrated. Hopefully he can get back on the field. But they got John Franklin Myers, who actually just secured the bag. 81 start dev at 24. And he actually remember when we just did like the regular Jets rebuild. He was really, really good. He was getting us like almost double-digit sacks every single year. So absolutely excited to see what he can do for us in this rebuild. Carl Lawson was a big free agency signing from the Bengals, and unfortunately he got hurt. So much like Mekhi Becton, going to be excited to get him back for year 2 of this rebuild. You know, Shaq Lawson, you know, you just got guys, solid players, nothing special, limited upside. Quinnen Williams, we got 87 star dev, only 23, so much like Franklin Myers. Really, with Carl Lawson, Franklin Myers, and Quinnen Williams, we're like 1 D tackle short. And I mean, you can even throw in now that Fatukasi has a dev trait. Maybe our D-line, our front 4, is intact. Those are the front 4 guys that we want to rock and roll with for the entirety of this rebuild. They brought in Sheldon Rankins from the Saints. He's solid. It's a good rotational guy. They got the Canadian Nathan Shepard there. But ultimately, I think between Williams, Fatukasi, a healthy Carl Lawson, and John Franklin Myers, that could be our front 4 that we just build off of. Linebacking core, you get the veteran and Mosley. He's very expensive. Solid. You know, probably not going to be a lot of upgrades sooner than later. I don't know if there's going to be an out of that contract. But, I mean, I have no problem keeping C.J. Mosley on the roster. Jarrett Davis, a middle linebacker. We have Blake Cashman out with an injury. So we have Nazrul Dean right now, or Quincy Williams actually been fairly solid. I had him in fantasy as an IDP. But either way you cut it, I think in terms of just upside, 5 years down the line, what's our linebacking core going to look like? Probably going to have 3 brand new linebackers. Secondary, you got Bryce Hall here. Got a dev trait, 77 star. I mean, he was a steal of the draft. He was one of those guys that, like, I was like, Joe Douglas, man, does not miss. Bryce Hall was a guy that probably should have went. He was like a fringe first rounder, had a bad injury. They got him win 6th, 5th, 4th, 5th, 6th round, somewhere in that range. Does it tell me here? 5th round, and just like that, he's at 77 star def. So there is a corner piece. Other than that, though, it is pretty weak, pretty light. Got speed for sure. Got the same name as a running back. Pretty sure on the practice squad you have the other Lamar Jackson. So yeah, we need 2 more corners to pair there with Bryce Hall. But usually free agency is fairly giving when it looks for, you know, cornerback upgrades. Free safety of Ashton Davis, 75, has a start as well. So another player that hopefully we can count on to develop into a long-term starter. And then we have Marcus May, who is currently out with an injury, but he's also in a contract year at 28. Gator bias, I think he's very good. I think he's underrated. Thought he was underrated coming out of Florida. So I definitely will plan at least to extend Marcus May. And the special teamers aren't, you know, it is what it is. As it stands right now, we hold pick 4 and 11. And we'll just see if we can improve upon that 4 pick. I already know we're probably going to find a way to win like 3 or 4 of the last games and just play ourselves out of a top pick. We'll have to wait and see. I don't really know what else there is to talk about this. I mean, for the draft and prospects that we're considering, I mean, I really hope that we could be in contention for, you know, a Thibodeaux, a Stingley, like one of those big name guys, Kyle Hamilton on the defensive side of the ball. Like, that's my plan. That's like, you know, when I was picking the Lions, or, you know, I was like, okay, when we did the Lions, in real life, they might have got Thibodeaux, but I decided when I did the Lions rebuild to go with the top quarterback we did, Malik Willis. So now that I'm doing the Jets, I'm like, is this going to be time that we can get Thibodeaux? Is this going to be time that we can get a Derek Stingley? Like, that's the plan. If we can't get a top 3 pick, even right now, pick 4, we might have a chance because one of those QBs could go. But I would love to get one of the premier blue chip, can't miss defensive players here in this draft. But you never know what's going to happen, man. We have to wait and see with the draft. And as ahead, before we get right into really anything, we have a breakout player. I would love for this to be Michael Carter, actually. And it is! Michael Carter. He couldn't write that better. Couldn't script that. Needs 2 touchdowns or 100 yards rushing and receiving. I'll tell you right now, I'm hopping in that game, and I'm getting this dude a star def. Tell you one thing I'm finding out fairly early in this. Is that Jets aren't really that good. Got a lot of work to do. I think it's going to be hard for us to almost hit this goal. I get some chunks here. 43 yards. Almost halfway there. I'll take it. Come on, 1 yard. 1 yard, Michael Carter. 1 yard, buddy. There we go. Touchdown. 1 of 2. We'll take that, man. I'll play myself out of a good draft pick to get Michael Carter a dev trade. There we go. There we go. Dolphins did get a touchdown, but we're 11 yards away from securing that dev. If we can get the dev and a loss, that might be best case for us. You're done for the day, my boy. Oh, let's go. He spins. I think that's it. 100 yards. Thank you for your service, Michael. Congratulations on the dev trade. Big fan. C4, big fan. There's no way he caught that. There's no way Michael Carter caught that out the backfield. And it stands. That's insane. And we get the win. 24-18 over Colin Kaepernick. 119 yards rushing. Michael Carter had that ridiculous receiving touchdown. Toe tap, toe drag swag. And he got himself a brand new dev trade. Happy for him. Let's see it live. Knowing that he achieved it. Feels good. How about Michael Carter? Special player. Dev trade. 20,000 XP. Beautiful. Brings a tear to my eye. Gets 3 upgrades off of this. So we're just going to pump all these into elusive back. And he's going to be a 78 elusive back as a rookie with a dev trait. There's like right there, another piece. Plug and play, big picture, 5-year rebuild. I see Michael Carter still being here at the end of that 5 years when we're lifting up that Super Bowl trophy. So because we just started this live, we're very deep. It's time to look at our contracts. Actually, we have another breakout player for whom? Okay, I don't know if I'm going to go back-to-back for Michael Carter. If he can hit that 150 total yards, he might hit that. It's unlikely, but it's Houston. Very winnable game. Looking at our contracts, though. Players that we want. So I talked about this at the very beginning, previewing the team. Marcus May, knew he was in a contract here. He's looking for a 4-year deal. I'll pay him that. Even with the Achilles tear, I think he'll bounce back from that injury. Crowder, it's kind of fitting that he is a free agent because then we just, I don't want to say wash our hands of him because he is still our highest rated wide receiver right now, but with Elijah Moore, we don't need him. Fadukasi has that dev trait, which makes this a little 26, 27, 28. Let's give him 3 years. 21.8, sure. Serviceable, Band-Aid, placeholder, whatever you want to call it. I think Laurent Duvernay-Tardif's worth a 1-year deal if he'll take it at this point. He wants a little bit more money because there's not going to be a better upgrade there, and I'm not going to draft a better upgrade in the draft. So I think, yeah, I'll give the guard here another offer. Rest of these guys, best of luck elsewhere. We lost? How do you lose? How do you beat the Dolphins and then you lose to the... Did we get it, though? Did we get him 150 total yards? That is the question here. 37-31. We got 81 and a touchdown. Michael Carter, oh, he didn't get it. God damn it. So to finish out year 1, good news, bad. We finished it out with a nice victory. A very big victory. I mean, a game that the Buffalo Bills needed to win, and the sim just went, hey, 49-14 victory for you guys. Appreciate that. But I was looking at the standings, and we were able to secure the #1 overall pick. The Lions went on a little bit of a win streak there. They also won their last game of the year. They're 5-12, but we have 2 first-round picks. The Seahawks have the 3rd overall pick. We're going to be picking 1 and 3 in the 2022 NFL Draft. I don't even know how that happens. Like, Seattle's way too good of a team to only have 5 wins. Like, that means what? Where do they start right now? How many wins do they have? 3? 4 wins? Somewhere in that range. I know they missed Russ for a little bit. But that means, like, they went 1 and whatever to end the season, which is absolutely insane to me. But fantastic roll of the dice here. I was hoping best case, first overall, and then, maybe a top 10 pick from Seattle. Or if we didn't finish first overall, we'd finish second overall, and then we'd be able to package maybe that second overall pick and whatever to secure maybe the first overall pick, so I can pick whoever I want, be it Stingley, Hamilton, Thibodeaux, whatever. And we got 1 and 3. I'm probably going to have my choice of whatever defensive players that I want to bring. Or maybe we go offense. I don't know yet. But I love the fact that that kind of came out. Like, perfect. Not too often a rebuild kind of roll. You get that perfect roll of the dice. We got that here today. Like, maybe I go Evan Neal and I put him on the other side of Becton and just have 2 of the most freaky tackles in the history of the NFL. I don't know. We have that luxury if we want to. And I want to see what happened in that 49-14. Who had a game here? It was Zach Wilson with 6 touchdowns. 6. I haven't even got that with him in my Eagles franchise. I'm glad. Again, the reason why we want to do this too. I want to see, maybe get a little sneak peek of what Zach Wilson can do. You tell me you can get 6 sim touchdowns against a playoff caliber Bills team. What will he be able to do if we do sim or something like that with the Eagles franchise? Love knowing that. Taking a look here at the rest of the stats, big picture. Jonathan Taylor finished leading rusher. Cooper Kupp leading receiver, 22 sacks for Myles Garrett, 7 interceptions. Logan Wilson, the linebacker for the Bengals, ended up catching Trevon Diggs, which is kind of impressive. But more about for our team, what did Zach Wilson do? And that's obviously missed some games due to injury. 3,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, 15 picks is not ideal, but I think we can work with that. We're only going to build this team up better. Michael Carter got his dev trait, finished over 1,000 yards and 14 rushing touchdowns. That's a hell of a rookie season there for Michael Carter. Might get Offensive Rookie of the Year. Who knows? No 1,000-yard receivers. 9 and 7 Corey Davis. 840 and 1 for Crowder. Elijah Moore finished with 760 yards, 7 touchdowns. It's a great rookie season for him. Croft was solid. Almost 400 yards for Michael Carter. So Michael Carter, as a rookie, finished with 15 touchdowns and almost 1,400 yards. Sign me up for that every day of the week. Defensively, C.J. Mosley, 126 tackles. We got 8 sacks, Quinnen Williams. 8 sacks, John Franklin Myers. And then, we really, we need Carl Lawson back. No other way about it. And in the secondary, would have liked to see a Bryce Hall interception. That is not nearly good enough in that secondary, which makes me think, with those premier picks, maybe we go all in on the secondary. Do we do Stingley and a Kyle Hamilton? Who knows? MVP went to old man Tom Brady. We're not going to have anybody, I don't think, unless we're talking about the rookies. Offensive rookie, they went to Mac Jones, Michael Carter, runner-up at number 2. Zach Wilson at 6, Elijah Moore at 7. Defensive rookie, they went to Odafe Owe. Do we have anybody that can even be contention? No. And then for the rest of the awards, looking for some Jets. And unfortunately, none exist. But 2 top 3 picks in the upcoming draft. We're going to do a lot of damage. Plus, we have, as you can see right there, 30. Maybe once we, trim the roster a little bit, closer to $50 million of salary cap. There's going to be a massive offseason for this rebuild. So to close of the year, season recap, year 1. The Saints beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl 45-38 with Alvin Kamara winning the MVP. That's surprising, but hey, at least it's not, Cowboys-Browns or Saints-Browns or Cowboys-Chiefs, the familiar suspects. Let's take a look at our team here. Do we have any dev traits? I don't think we'd earn any. Maybe, maybe not. On offense, no dev traits outside of the one that we earned for Michael Carter in season. Defensively, we have, John Franklin Myers went up to superstar. Quinnen Williams went up to superstar. And C.J. Mosley went up to superstar. That's a win. It's cut time. Trying to trim a little fatter. We got $3.5 million. Get rid of Greg Van Roten. Absolutely. At right tackle, George Fant. There's almost another, $8 million there. Thank you very much for your service, but we're just going to thin the herd here. Shaq Lawson, don't need him. $9 million. Thank you. Man, there are some rough contracts on this team, which is good. I mean, they're easy to get out of, which is exactly what you need if there's a bad contract. Sheldon Rankins, don't need that third D tackle. I think he's a solid player. And if I'm building a roster, you kind of want 3. You don't need that kind of depth. Don't really need that for this rebuild. Mosley went up dev trade, so we're definitely going to keep him. Just showing how much help we need at linebacker there. Let's see, you don't need 4. Get a Dawkins, shave off a couple hundred thou. Into the secondary, Hardy, $2.5 million. I mean, obviously, I'll trim up this roster. I don't need to show every release, but at least some of the big ones. But just like that, we went from okay, we might be able to get a guy or two that we might have the most money to spend in free agency. So my plan for free agency was kind of be you know, less splashy, more build the roster uppy. If that makes sense. Like, I'm not going to go for Devontae Adams, Von Miller, Gronk, any of these dudes. I don't think I even threw a bid on anybody in the top 10, but we're still going to be active. I like our board. I got, like, if I was the Jets, if I was Joe Douglas, this was the market. These would be the players I would target. So I got Michael Gallup, formerly the Cowboys. I think that could be a nice three-headed wide receiver core. Gallup, Davis on the outside, Elijah Moore in the slot. Got Will Dissly, a tight end, only 26. He's a scheme fit. Got that star dev. Not a crazy bid either. Rodrigo Blankenship, goggles at kicker, sure. Keanu Neal at linebacker. He went up superstar dev. I'd be able to kick him really on any other side that's not CJ Mosley. And then I just got Nick Needham in the secondary. 25, star dev, 75. Gives us 2 corners to work with if we decide we want to go with Derek Stingley out of LSU in the draft. Wasn't expecting to get everybody. I did not expect to miss out on the 2 that I don't know. Actually, Dissly might be the most important. We missed out on Keanu Neal. We missed out on Michael Gallup. All we had, I wouldn't say bigger, but I would say at least $2 to $3 more million on a contract on every team on all these offers. So we missed out on Gallup and Neal. We did bring in a new tight end. We have a new kicker and a solid corner to add to our secondary. So for our private workouts, we pretty much control our own destiny. So I'm going to get Stingley, Thibodeaux, and Kyle Hamilton. Now draft time. Let's go, man. Do it live, at least for our picks. First overall, I feel like a fairly easy selection here. It's not a need either. That's the only problem. It's not a need. It's more of a want. But he's so good. I almost... You don't pass on guys. You make it work. Like, I'm already thinking right now. We get John Franklin Myers almost 300 pounds. Could kick him in. Like, Fatou Kassi comes surplus at that point. I think, like, this is the time when you get the #1 overall pick and you've yet to do a Kayvon Thibodeaux rebuild. You're probably going to go Thibodeaux and hopefully Stingley's there. But he's you know, it's Thibodeaux. He's insane. He's right in line with Chase Young. He's right in line with the Bosas. He's right in line with Myles Garrett in terms of edge rusher. So we're going to get Thibodeaux. Pick 2. I mean, they're not going to go Stingley, right? They don't want to get burned like Okuda. Pick 2, the Detroit Lions select Matt Corral at quarterback. So pick 3, we get our pick of the litter. And I just think, looking at the way our team is set up, we got May, we got Davis. Even though Kyle Hamilton might be just, you know, kind of similar to Thibodeaux, where it's like you just draft him and make it work. I think we have to grab Stingley here at corner. And he is also, much like Kayvon Thibodeaux, blue chip player, and he's going to be huge for us in this rebuild. And then it kind of comes into, like, solving the offensive line issues, right? We got to work on that whole Jackson Kirkland's there. I have used him in rebuilds before, which kind of is slightly off-putting from that standpoint. But you know who else is just as good? Is Ekwamu. Right guard, can play right tackle. You know, the dev trade's going to be huge on him. I don't know if he's normal. He does have hidden dev, which is great. And we had our pick of a litter of the players that slipped from the first round, and we hit on 2 defensive and on the offensive line. Awesome. This will be the last pick we got. That'll show you. We got pick 22. And look at the wide receivers. We need linebackers. We need wide receivers. Nakobe Dean is still there. Jameson Williams at wide. I think we're just going to go linebacker, given the state of our linebackers. And Nakobe Dean, the heart and soul of that Georgia defense. And this is getting ridiculous at this point. 4 first-round talents with our first 4 picks. We have 3rd round, first pick. The wide receivers are still there. Have I used it? I think I've drafted Jameson Williams. Drake London slipped because of the injury. I think given our roster, I mean, I'll go... Let's go Jameson Williams. No dev. I just need a guy for sure that can play on the outside. Mechie, you're getting in the slot territory. Drake London, worried about separation. Jameson Williams, transfer from Ohio State to Alabama with their deep threat. You can see, has deep threat capabilities, but no dev trade. You know, I think it would have been a little insane, though, if we got 5 hidden devs in one draft. Draft recap time. And it's a very good draft. We know the dev traits is very good. Now let's look at the base ratings. So, Kayvon Thibodeaux, 81 hidden dev, #1 player in the draft, #1 overall pick in the draft, and we'll have to shuffle around the defensive line, but that's fine. And then we got Stingley at 380, currently with a big hit, so we'll take it at face value. 78 Hidden Dev, another player that's just, you know, franchise. Second round, we get Aquanu, right guard 72 with a Hidden Dev. Nakobe Dean, 69, which is actually a little low, but he has a +1 boost with a Hidden Dev, the heart and soul of that, what's shaping to be a historic Georgia Bulldogs defense. He might be a little bit better overall, but I will take the dev trade. Jameson Williams, 69 normal. I got Thayer Munford, the tackle, starting tackle for Ohio State. Will probably shift more to the right-hand side. He's 66 normal. Value pick, Dante Demas, 71 normal out of Maryland here in the 4th round. We got Leon O'Neal, 67, and then Hinton, 63 to finish out the draft. But 4 hidden devs, probably pit, like in terms of overall, maybe 1 and 2, if not 1 and 3 in true talent. That's how you start a rebuild, man. So we just pretty much had the mega draft, and as we gear off into year 2, I mean, I don't know if we have, do we have 2 firsts still from that? I don't think we do from that trade. So now we're like more so like, you know, we got all the S tier players, almost feels like, from the 2022 draft. So 2023, I mean, we're not gonna be touching these QBs, but we absolutely could be in the market for a running back if Michael Carter doesn't continue to develop. But even then, that's not fair, because I want to give him the opportunity to continue to develop. So then you look at the blue chips like Butte from LSU would be absolutely insane. We could need help there at wide receiver. There's a bunch of tight ends available. If Will Dissly is not the truth, the answer for us, I think we're good on defense. You throw in the linebackers. Yes, sir. Noah Sewell, Jack Campbell, Nolan Smith, Drew Santafuna, all could potentially be in play. But I think we did such a good job with that draft in 2022. It really sets us up to almost be in a BPA scenario for the remainder of this rebuild. And our team specifically for year 2, here's how it's shaping up. Offensively, you know, we got our devs. Corey Davis, Michael Carter, Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore, Will Dissly. You throw in another on the offensive line. Ekwonu, I moved him from guard to tackle just because we have Duvernay Tardy for the time being. Vera Tucker, Becton is back, the big ticket at left tackle, 83 superstar. It's going to be interesting to see between Mims, Deonte Demas, and Jameson Williams who could emerge as that 3rd wide receiver. Right now, I'll give Denzel Mims the opportunity just because he's an established veteran, and there's not really a big discrepancy between these guys. They're all roughly like a year or 2 apart. But I think the offense, it's just we need a bigger year from Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson needs to take that next step in his development. Last year, I mean, the final game, 6 touchdowns against the Buffalo Bills. So if we can get a little bit more of that more often than not, I think we're going to be well on our way to having a great year. So we moved Franklin Myers into D-tackle. We got Quinnen Williams there. Thibodeaux at defensive end with Lawson. Stingley at corner with Bryce Hall and Nick Needham. Davis and May back, much like the big ticket on offense. May is as big of an improvement on the defensive side. Mosley went up dev trade. We got Nakobe Dean, Blake Cashman there. One thing I am thinking is maybe we'll throw Fatou Kassi up on the trade block. I mean, I didn't think when we re-signed him that we'd have a chance at Thibodeaux, but you kind of got to work with what you got. And if we could find a way to improve at linebacker, if we could find a way to maybe land a wide receiver, center, or guard, or something like that, I could be in play. You know, in terms of draft pick compensation, 27, 28, 80 start. Just a solid starting defensive tackle for a lot of teams in the league. So, and I don't know, 3rd round pick sniffs our way. Maybe we'll take that too. Also, just to get the contract off the books here. So, midway point of year 2, and pretty damn good. I mean, the Patriots right now are a little bit running away with the AFCs, but we're 6-4, and look at that defense up to an 85 overall. But I mean, when you get Thibodeaux, you get Derek Stingley in one draft, you're expecting those guys to absolutely hit and contribute right away. Contracts at week 12. I mean, still in wild cards, still shooting for the playoffs here. So let's see what we got. There's one interesting one and one obvious one. Cashman could be interesting because he's starting this year. So is he going to go with a dev trade? Is he going to be a 26-74 start at the end of the season? If that's the case, I might be inclined to re-sign him. So I feel like we kind of wait and see there. I will overpay a couple more, like maybe $1 million or $2 more if he does go up that dev trade. But ultimately, for me, Quinnen Williams, he's the obvious re-sign here. I want him for the remainder of this rebuild. I'll give him a 5-year deal, just over a $10 million cap hit, and we got him locked up. All right, so the end of year 2, we finished very strong, 10-7. I don't know if we would have won that game week 18 over Cincinnati or not. We would have made the playoffs, but I think given the fact where we were the worst team in the NFL last year, getting double-digit wins bodes very well for this team going forward. Looking at the NFL across the league, 45 touchdowns, Mahomes. Huge year from Derrick Henry. Mike Evans, the leading receiver, 23 sacks. Aaron Donald, Couple picks across the board. I'm not seeing any of our Jet players, which is never great. Zach Wilson might have got himself a dev trait off. What? We got 6th in passing yards, 5th in touchdowns, 35 tutties, 10 interceptions. That could be superstar for Zach Wilson. That is very important. Like, I feel like X Factor is icing on the cake, but just superstar, like, that's good enough. I feel like superstar dev, we got a chance. 1,000 yards, 15 touchdowns. Michael Carter's been amazing. Like, I mean, those stats are incredible for a guy that's, you know, he was what, 81? 80 stars starting the year. Very happy with his rushing production. 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns for Corey Davis. 1,009 for Elijah Moore. 9-6. Denzel Mims. 860 and 8 for the free agency signing Will Disley. All very acceptable numbers, especially Mims. Maybe there's something there. Maybe I won't have to go wide receiver with the first pick here. Nakobe Dean, our rookie out of Georgia. 125 tackles, 13 TFLs, 5 sacks. Outstanding. We got 9 sacks, Carl Lawson, 18 TFLs, 6 sacks from Thibodeaux, 20 TFLs. A little bit of a learning curve going from, you know, the NFL from college. 17 and 5.5 for Quinnen Williams. Franklin Myers, 25. Like, just, you can't run the ball on us. That's ridiculous numbers. Interceptions, 4 for Marcus May, 3 for Mosley, 3 for Derek Stingley to go along with 81 tackles. Not too bad. 2 picks there for Davis, 1 for Needham, free agency signing. Look at the yearly awards here. MVP went to Patrick Mahomes. I feel like Zach Wilson, yeah, made the short list at number 9. Congratulations. Looking at just our overall award winners here. Offensive rookie, they went to Isaiah Spiller. Defensive rookie, they went to Nakobe Dean. Thibodeaux at 2. Stingley at 4. So 3 of the top 4 rookies in the AFC I mean, overall, too, it might be Nakobe Dean, but they're coming from the Jets. I feel good about that. And then for individual awards, unfortunately, no one there, but we're getting there. We're so close. I think here in year 3, we're making the playoffs, minimum. So to close out year 2, it was a Bills-Packers. That'd be a pretty good Super Bowl. That could be a Super Bowl for real life this year. As the Bills win 29-27, Trey White is your Super Bowl MVP. Nakobe Dean, I saw down there, though, overall, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Maybe a dev trade. That's what we're looking for right now as we clear out the lockers. Any dev trades gain. I need Zach Wilson, superstar. Yes! Corey Davis, superstar. What did Corey Davis do to get it? I mean, at 1,300 yards, I guess. Nothing but regression, but gives 10 regression. So, I mean, we got -4 regression. He got +6 there, made the Pro Bowl. Then he lost 10, but he went up a dev trait. Cool. Zach Wilson going up superstar. I thought he would because, you know, fringe top 5, if not outright top 5. That's exactly kind of what we're looking for there. So superstar dev, Zach Wilson, very happy with that. Equano, hidden dev, tackle, came out as a star dev. Defensively, we have Derek Stingley, 86 superstar. We have Kayvon Thibodeaux, 87 superstar. CJ Mosley goes up to an X. See, that's just where it's stupid, though. That's just some sort of like, I'm not going to play God, as they would say. Like, I feel like Mosley should have stayed at superstar, and then I would have took Nakobe Dean, because he got Defensive Rookie of the Year, go up to superstar versus, another back-to-back for Mosley. And maybe, you could move the goalpost there and justify that if we took a dev trade away from Mosley and rightly give it to Dean, but I don't want to manipulate it too much there. Marcus May went up dev trade, especially when you look at the fact that, like, obviously, between Thibodeaux and Stingley, I felt fairly confident that at least one of them was going to be a superstar. It's my own freaking draft class, but it's been a minute since I've really tinkered a little bit. But May going up dev, Mosley going up dev, it's all good right now. And, it opens that, what is it called, Pandora's box. Like, if I do this once and I take a unjust dev trait, shift it over to a guy who needs a dev trait, where does it end? Does that become a staple to rebuild? I don't really want to bark up that tree. I'm just going to be very happy that we have Davis and Zach Wilson, both new superstars on offense. And we have Mosley, who's an X Factor. Marcus May went up superstar. And we found out that, Thibodeaux and Derek Stingley are absolute beasts. For free agency, we're going to be aggressive. Eric McCoy at center. I need a center. I am vastly overpaying as well. I figure, we got Zach Wilson. He's going to be on a rookie deal for most of this rebuild. So we're going to have lots of wiggle room. And the fact that most of our best players are like rookie deals, it'd be year 4, year 5 for it to pay the piper. I want to be very aggressive here in trying to land Eric McCoy. And then if I don't get him, I know that there was 0 chance that he'd be coming. And then I got Hollywood Brown. You know, no dev trade for Corey Davis, or no dev trade for Denzel Mims or anything like that. So at this point, no other bids on him. I don't think I've used him yet in a rebuild. I'm intrigued by potentially bringing in Hollywood Brown to pair with Corey Davis and Elijah Moore. But Eric McCoy, that's the big fish I really want to try to reel in here. Like, it's just, oh man. Like, I have the boost that's like, if they're a scheme fit, they want to come to you on free agency, and I paid $20 million more. And it's just, there's just some, I just feel like there's some players that are like red herrings. Is that, again, we're getting a lot of metaphors and sayings and phrases. But is that what it is? Like, it feels like anytime there's that weird, obscure free agent that's not always there, it's impossible to get them. Like, there's no way I have every single boost that could bring that guy in. And now, like, we're way down here on Hollywood Brown. Because we missed out on McCoy, I'll up it here a little bit. We'll go 11 million. I'll go 5.5. Because we were kind of blown out of the water there for the bid. 3-year, 49 million. And it's still not enough. 6. Give that 6. 605. How about that? 3 years, $51 million puts us back in first place. Unfucking believable. I don't know. Like, is there a point to, like, how many more free agent things do I need to buy? Like, I've been working it here. We got that one. Okay, so we have free safety. We have scheme fit boost. I have lineman boost. So, I mean, I don't have 2 out of 2, but that should help for McCoy. Jesus, man. So, as we're ahead of the draft here, I make a promise. Every single stat point that I earned from here on out in the rebuild is pumping in to signing free agents. That's 2 years that I've paid above and beyond, well above, like almost, you know, fringe, unrealistic territory, trying to get big names, and they ain't coming here. So now we go into the draft. I need a guard. I need a center, wide receiver potentially. I think you can look at a linebacker, an outside linebacker, like just whiffing on all these players we need. We have pick 18. Who fits the bill here? Not quarterback, of course. DJ Ukulele's there when I don't need one. Jackson, oh, he could be good at wide receiver. That doesn't look like we have an absolute home run at wide receiver. On the offensive line, it's just not a strong... I mean, Skoronski might actually be the pick here. Depending on what the linebackers are saying. B.J. Ojulari, don't really need him. Jack Campbell. We have Nolan Smith, Drew Sanders. Yeah, I'm going to go on the offensive line here. We're going to get Skoronski. Either way, between him and Ekwonu, one of those guys can shift over to the guard, and we bring him in, and that is a hidden dev trait. So for our draft recap overall, yeah, you know, one of those drafts, picking 18, it's a tough one. We've got Skoronski there, 73 hidden dev. Not going to look at the dev trait, but right now my plan is to kick him in to the guard spot, and we'll see what that does to his rating. Usually, if you move a guy into guard, the rating pops up a little bit. It actually stays even. Second round, we got a great linebacker. No dev trait, though. Trenton Simpson from Clemson. He is a 72 with a normal. And then the rest, just, you know, kind of going BPA. Got a, you know, McClellan, Zipperer, really good tight end. Had a huge game for Florida on the weekend. Logan Hall from Houston. And Cody Simon, depth linebacker from Ohio State. And we pick up here year 3 for the New York Jets. And it might not be our most overpowered team. In fact, they're up to an 83 overall is pretty good. But this is honestly shaping up to be one of my more favorite teams. That sounds like terrible English, but I'm very happy with where we're at. And they're players that I like. Like, obviously, Zach Wilson. We have ties with him to the Eagles franchise. But I like Zach Wilson. We got him up to a superstar. I like Michael Carter. We got him a dev trade. I like Corey Davis. Got him up to a superstar. The big ticket is a beast. We got Ekwonu, Skoronski. We've been developing and building through the trenches just like Joe Douglas would do. All right, and then you throw in the fact we got Elijah Moore who's emerging. We got Disley, Denzel Mims. Finally had a little bit of a breakout year last season. You flip to the defense, and the defense looks just as damn good. The front four, led by Quinnen Williams and Kayvon Thibodeaux. You got Derek Stingley in the secondary. Marcus May, Gator Bias. Mosley, Nakobe Dean's going to have a chance to break out this year. I'm just really, really happy where this team is at. And I think last year we were a really good double-digit win team. Just missed out in the playoffs. I think here in year 3, about the same. Like I'm thinking between worst case, like a floor of 8 wins, ceiling at 12 wins. I'll be disappointed if we don't make the playoffs here this season. This is ridiculous. We're 1-7. It's year 3 too. It's not usually if it's year 4, I'll just be like year 4. Okay, it's super weird. This is year 3. We're 1-7, And we've... I don't know. I don't think there's any explaining. It's just one of those weird Madden anomalies, I suppose. Let's just focus on what we can focus on. There's 2 more years of this rebuild left. So we're going to get Mekhi Becton lined up, locked in for 5 more years. Carl Lawson, again, it's one of those things. We let him hit the open market. He's probably going to be the best defensive end available. Could pay him back. Corey Davis with the superstar dev. He's fine. I still think that's probably the spot I want to target in the draft. If there is one, is like a big-time playmaker at wide receiver. See if we can, get an X factor. Even though, like, man, that's one thing I just haven't really had in my rebuilds. I have not. I don't know about you guys. Would love to hear from you guys in the comments. Have you guys been drafting X factors? I think we got 1 safety once, and that has been it. So I'm not having the best luck. Like, I keep thinking, like, it's like older Maddens where it's like, all right, there's, if you hit on the best player, well, I mean, that's not so much Madden 20 because best players always had normal devs last year. But, and we got Mims here. I like having Mims, but we don't need to pay that because we have, like, if Mims has another crazy year, maybe we'll think about it. But there's depth behind Denzel Mims. We got Jameson Williams. We got, what else do we get? Draft another wide receiver. Either way. Don't need him. We will give... I'll give Carl Lawson another contract. That's still an insane amount of money. And as you can see up there with the 58 staff points, I'm hoarding them. I'm going to hoard them, and then right before free agency, I'm going to spend all of them so that we're going to sign any and all free agents that we want for the remainder of this rebuild. Because there's not much to talk about this year, we do have a breakout dev scenario here for Ashton Davis in the secondary. There's a chance that we could actually get something. Let's actually focus on our players here as well. We're going to have a fairly high pick, so I think it's worth, making sure we do our due diligence here. And unfortunately, I mean, there's no guy that looks like he's the guy at wide receiver. We'll go Divine, we'll go Fant. Usually you can rely on the top 5 projected players, and, like, we don't need a QB, I don't need an edge rusher, I don't need a D tackle, so maybe Ciante Hearns from Auburn as well. Like, we could throw another corner in the mix, so we're going to go with the top 2 wide receivers and the best corner available. And now let's sim to the next week and see if we can hit. Like, a silver lining would be, I think, if we got Ashton Davis up to superstar, adding that to the back end of the defense would be pretty huge. We got a win. Nice. 21-18 over Miami. And Ashton Davis, fuck off. Just to, like, add on to the kind of year that we're having. So I went the week after Ashton Davis had his dev trade scenario here. And it's another win. Man, we're getting a little bit of momentum here. Still last place in the division. But we beat the Denver Broncos 27-14. I was like, oh, I got a weekly award winner. Cool. What do we have? Ashton Davis, 2 picks. It's just one of them years. So somehow, some way, like in this, we had, I don't know where we peaked with our win streak, but it got pretty good. 1, 2, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1. So yeah, we won 5 of 6 at some point, which all it did was just enough to make sure any of those guys we focused, scouted, were going to be useless to us. And I still just, I don't know, man. Really weird year. You look at my team ranks, it's all over the place. There's no rhyme or reason how, why we play. Actually, we'll look at the stats here in just a second. Looking around the league, Laviska Shenault with 118 catches is kind of insane. 7 picks, Roquan Smith. Looking at our team. Let's see what we did. Zach Wilson definitely had a little bit of regression from last year. 4,100 yards, 30 touchdowns is okay, acceptable. 16 picks is a little high. Running the ball, almost 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns. Michael Carter, who's been very good in this rebuild. Shout out to Michael Carter. 1,400 yards and 9 touchdowns for Elijah Moore. 9-6 for Corey Davis. 7-7 for Disley. 5-4 for Mims. So yeah, Mims is replaceable. And yeah, Demas. And we got Jameson Williams. I feel like those 2 guys can probably step up and fill the role of Denzel Mims if we can't find an upgrade via the draft or free agency. Again, the sack numbers are ridiculous. AVT, Becton, they're not giving out that amount of sacks. I don't know really what's going on there. Mosley, good for the veteran. 115 tackles, 9 TFLs, 3 sacks, 3 picks. 11.5 sacks, Tim Thibodeaux, very good. 11 sacks, Quinton Williams. 9.5, John Franklin Myers. 5.5 from Lawson, who we just paid pretty decent money. But collectively, you got to view that as a collective. And maybe Carl Lawson was eating the double teams to open things up for Thibodeaux and the rest of the guys. Those are very good sack numbers. Interception numbers are acceptable. 3 picks, Stingley, tied for first on the team. 3 for Ashton Davis. It's just one of those things that you look at our team. It's like, okay, we need a center. Was a center, the fact that we had a 68 overall center, the reason why we lost? Our center real people too. Quick look on the awards here. I don't think we're going to have anybody. What is going on with that Jacksonville team? Wait, who's their QB? So they got... Oh, never mind. I thought they got both Bryce Young. So Bryce Young's in the division. That's always fun to know. And then you got, yeah, Brucey, defensive player of the year. I mean, obviously, he's insane. Absolutely insane for Clemson. So, all right, let's just act like this shit never happened. All right, let's look at our team as we close this one out. Just quickly, the order of the Patriots. Awesome. You know, this is our window that the Patriots don't upgrade. They're supposed to be not great right now. It's time for another team like the Bills, Jets, Dolphins take over that division, and they just win the Super Bowl. J.C. Jackson is the MVP. Congratulations. I'm a fan of J.C. Jackson. Was a Florida Gator once upon a time. So happy for him. On the offense, we have some dev traits as we're leaving the year. So Skoronski, our first-round draft pick, was hidden dev. It comes out star. But Elijah Moore has gone up after a 1,400-yard season. That is excellent to pair that with Corey Davis. Getting that to superstar. That should be good enough. I was thinking I need wide receiver. Still might. That third wide receiver spot's going to be open. And like if we can have a way that we have a superstar in the slot with Moore, and then we have Davis superstar, and then something else on the outside, that's probably going to be a dream scenario. I don't know how realistic that's going to be. And then on the defensive side, Ashton Davis went up to a superstar dev, which is pretty damn cool. Superstar just earned it. Just earned it. No other way around. I'm surprised Nakobe Dean's not going up. He's been pretty damn productive, but still got Mosley, veteran, holding on to that X factor. There's value there. And Thibodeaux's up to a 91. Quentin Williams, 94. I would imagine next season, I mean, Derek Stingley's not, you know, low morale right now, but he's 89, so that's soon to be another 90-plus player. I mean, Franklin Myers could hit that sooner than later. So this is a team that's very, very good. Just a weird year that we should just forget about, honestly. So look at the available free agents. We have T. Higgins. I've signed him before, and he hasn't necessarily been the game changer we've been looking for. So I'm like, I maybe hope forward to the draft. Bayadish at center, scheme fit. Yeah, I mean it's not a great free agency period for what we're looking for. Like I need a game changer wide receiver, not star dev players. So yeah, we'll lay it at center. Okay, so for our pick, two spots that we could be looking at, I would say is corner and wide receiver. There is a corner that looks pretty good. Ben Shepard here for Virginia Tech, 6'1", 188, 80%. You know, we did our due diligence. He's got B-man coverage, C-zone, C-catching, 6'1". He has 4.36, so he's third in the 40, first in the 3-cone, third in the 20-yard shuttle, and like just off the charts, right? Just absolutely off the charts. But there's also an equally good wide receiver, I believe. We have, there's even two. One is Reggie St. Clair from Florida State, 5'10", 195. Not so much what we need, but he has B release, B route running. And then you look at this, second in the 40, fourth in the 3-cone, second in the 20-yard shuttle. Pretty good vertical jump as well. But then the issue comes, like, get the freak. We have Trey Garvin from Wisconsin, 6'4", 225. 6'4", 225. We got A catching. And then you look at the physicals here. 4.37 is pro day, but he ran the 4th fastest 40 at the combine, 12th in the 3-cone, 5th in the 20-yard shuttle. It's just, okay, so we got the Freakzilla at wide receiver, or do we go corner? I think ultimately the way you make this decision is, let's just look at the depth chart here, right? I feel like you look at the wide receiver spot, Corey Davis is at that age where it's like, all right, he's probably as good as he's going to get. So you have Elijah Moore going forward, and we have some youth that are solid, but they're limited ceilings. And then you look into the secondary here, it's a little bit better, right? You got Stingley, best football ahead of them. Hall is serviceable. Needham, you know, he could have improved from that. This is a tough one. I would also argue I haven't had the best of luck going with wide receivers. But I feel like at this point, let's go with the freak on the outside. Trey Garvin. Hindev! No! No, damn it. St. Clair and Shepard. Remember that. We'll go sneak a peek at them after the draft. How about on a linebacker here? Brandon Cooks. No relation. From Ohio State. A pursuit, A zone coverage. Pretty good athlete. Top 10 in the 40. Top 5 in both 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. We need another linebacker. All the corners are dried up. This is probably the last pick we can make with any sort of optimism. Got the depth trait, 91 acceleration. I'll take that. All right, let's see what we pulled. I'm overly optimistic in those first two picks. Okay, we got Trey Garvin is a 74. Great athlete. Really was looking for a depth trait. I mean, from you throw the depth trait. looks amazing. 6'4", 93 speed, 86 catching traffic, 84 catching, 91 agility, 89 jumping. We got Brandon Cooks, the outside linebacker, with the dev trait. Really happy to add him in. Seems like, you know, pretty good across the board. Might have a chance to start as a rookie. I got Bill Steele. He was actually the last user pick I made. 71 normal corner. We actually had 99% scouting on him as well. He looked fairly solid. Ugh. Not gonna lie, I simmed the draft after that, and it was not a whole lot of talent. So I want to look at the other two players that we picked, or we passed over. Could have picked, decided not to. So we got Shepard, who went right after the corner from Virginia Tech. He's 74 normal depth, so not really much difference there. I need to see no, that's not it. What was his name? St. Clair. There we go. Oh, no. Reggie St. Clair, 77 normal. So ultimately, I was looking for a dev trait. That would have been the tiebreaker, so I'm happy with our pick. So for year number 4, this is where our roster is at. Not a lot of changes. Just haven't had, you know, the free agency roles have not gone our way, but we have 2 new superstars at wide receiver, which is good. Michael Carter, Zach Wilson, continue to develop. We got Biadish at center. Hopefully that brings the line together. I mean, that's, what, a 7-point upgrade over the center that we had starting last season. And then you have the fact that we now have Becton, who's into the 90s. I would suspect there's a chance at the end of this year that Michael Carter and maybe Elijah Moore will be in the 90s as well. And then you flip to the defense, and it's, I like Simpson. We might have to go with Cooks just because of the dev. If he has superstar or something like that, we would regret not giving him the reps early on. But our safety pairing, both on superstar linebacking core, a lot of upside with a great veteran presence. The D-line is outstanding. Stingley will most likely be a 90 sooner than later this year, leading that secondary room. You definitely can see, though, where we could add a corner if there becomes a big name available in free agency. Right now, Needham and Bryce Hall, they're more than serviceable. They're solid players, and they just need to complement what we have in Stingley and the 2 superstar safeties. So ultimately, I think we should set our goal this year. That's something that I don't always do, and I wonder if that has something to do with what, you know, kind of goes on underneath the hood here. It's just going to be simply make the playoffs. That's all we need. Just make the playoffs, give us a chance to go on a run. I didn't even think about, like, starting the beginning of this conversation with Derek Stingley. It was like, hey, I'm thinking about becoming an X Factor. And then he hits it. And that's ridiculous. You only get a 2,000 XP boost going from a superstar to a superstar X Factor. But in a 27-14 victory, Derek Stingley, what's his ability? That's I would have thought either between Derek Stingley and Kayvon Thibodeaux from that draft class that Thibodeaux would have been the guy that gets the dev trait sooner. We'll pump it in there. Ooh, he goes up 2 overall. Try to become a slot scheme fit. What abilities we got here? Reinforcement. Run blocks, tackles. I don't know about that. Let's get universal coverage. Zone knockouts. That one's pretty good. Zone hawk. Into the zone. The coverage is tighter. Interceptions. It got to be shut down. We got to go with shut down for Derek Stingley. I don't want to say this was a collapse of a season as we end up here in year 4. But we were, at one point, I think 7-4 was our best record. We were 7-4, and we finished 8-9 in a very tight AFC East. We're 87 overall. It's one of them weird years, I suppose. I mean, looking around the league right now, nothing, really stands out. God damn it, man! What's going on? Like, not a bad year, Zach Wilson, 4,100 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 picks. We got 12 and 11 for Michael Carter, 2,000-yard receivers, and Elijah Moore and Demas. Not a great year there from Davis, but is what it is. And then you flip to the defense. 114 tackles, Dean, 105 for C.J. Mosley. The sacks are solid. 11.5 Franklin Myers, 9 from Lawson, 8.5 from Thibodeaux, 8 from Quinnen Williams. Interception numbers are maybe a little bit lower. Their new superstar X Factor, Derek Stingley, leading the room, or at least tied with 3 picks. Like, is there something? So we have the 21st offense. Well, let me just look at this one. The team stats menu doesn't really mean a whole lot now because you can get your overall team ranks on the main hub here. So we're the 26th offense, 11th defense, big picture wise. We have the 26th passing yards against defense, which leads me to believe that, like, corners where we need to spend our money this year. And just offensively, wasn't good enough, no matter what way you cut it. Like, this is like one of those years, like, we were first place in the NFC East for, like, it felt like at least 75% of the season. Yearly awards, quickly look at that. Mahomes is the MVP. I don't think we're going to have any Jets. Just wasn't that good of a year. We do not. So now we're going to year 5, and we need everything to kind of fall through for us in a good way. Season recap. Kind of, you know, Bengals are good in this. I think that's their second Super Bowl they've gone to. I don't know if that's the second one they won, but they beat Dallas in the shootout 42-35. Joe Burrow is the Super Bowl MVP for our team. Let's just see. Do we have any dev traits as we enter our most important offseason with over $100 million worth of salary cap? Okay, so no devs on offense. And on the defense side, we have Stingley, X Factor, yes. And no one else went up dev. And Cooks, the outside linebacker, is only a star dev. I definitely didn't forget to re-sign my players during the season. This was much more of a... I wasn't happy with the performance. So no one was getting paid mid-season until we made the playoffs, right? You guys buying that? All right, here we go. We got Michael Carter first at running back. So because we're at that last spot, we're going to have to overpay for pretty much everybody. But we got Michael Carter. We now have Elijah Moore. We'll go like 10 and 5. I mean, at the rate that we're not signing free agents, I have no problem paying these guys a little bit more. We got Elijah Moore. AVT on the offensive line. Need him for sure to stay. We'll give him 7 and 405. 2 years, $22 million. And then last but not least, we have Mr. Zachary Wilson. Looking for 148. This one could get a little tricky, so I'm going to make sure we overpay. We're still looking at that. No matter, like, even if, like, overpay beyond belief, we're still going to have $60 million to try and see if anybody wants to come join the Jets and win a Super Bowl in year 5. All right, here we go. Final free agency period. Here are my current negotiations. I'll start with the defense. Jerome Baker at linebacker. Just move him over to take over for C.J. Mosley. Just a little bit more youth, a little bit more of a speed presence at this point than what we have with the veteran and Mosley, but we are losing the X factor. And then at wide receiver, I figured why not? If we're very much in this, like we're so close to a Super Bowl, I was originally just going to go Devontae Smith, 85 star, but I feel like at this point, maybe like DeAndre Hopkins moves the needle a little bit more for us next season. We have all the free agency boosts, so if they're going to come, they're going to come because we have the top bid for both of those players. Wow, DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, I hope Devontae's still there. We got Baker, the linebacker. Oh, he's gone. Jesus. Do we go Kenny Golladay? Go all in, 3-headed superstar attack. I'll give him 6, 2.5. 1 year, 8.40. Oh, wow. Okay, he better come. Okay, we got Kenny Golladay. All right, so for this draft, the one spot that I need a player is I need a good corner. I need a third corner. That's why I wasn't worried about signing one in free agency, because this was a draft class that was very strong at corner. National Scout, top strength of the class was the cornerback spot. So we did our due diligence. Look at this. Look at all the knowledge. Look at all the information. So let's see what we got. We got Landon Reese. Let's make the best decision. He actually looks pretty good. Combine's not brutal. We have Chauncey Ash from California. F zone coverage, combine brutal. That guy's a bust. Elijah Morton from Ohio, not Ohio State. Looks not great. We have Brennan Dobson, UCLA. A catching. Coverage skills are not the best. Athletically, not great. Not the 40 time you're looking for. We have Trevor Milner from West Virginia. BBB, zone, not great. Combine, pretty good. I think he's going to be our top dog right here. And then lastly, Max Campbell from Georgia. We got B, zone, D, man, and not a great combine. So I think it's between Milner and Landon Reese. And I feel like at this point, we'll just go Milner. Kind of built more like the, he's man covered, so he's going to be a slot corner, I think. Let's grab him. No dev. Oh. So we're finishing up the draft. Okay, let's see. That guy there is dev trade. If he's still like 75, 76, something like that, then it's serviceable. And he's 75, which helps us out. The rest of the draft class, I just simmed it out. I didn't really... It's year 5. None of these guys are going to treat you. But Milner has an opportunity. And plus, he's going to get a lot of playing time. He's clearly going to be our corner 3. So, and he's a great athlete. Won't be overmatched, I don't think, jumping to the NFL. And with that normal dev trait, maybe he's going to be primed with all the snaps he's going to get as a rookie for a potential dev trait sooner than later. So here's how our team looks in our final season. And my guess is 10 wins. My guess is 10 wins and run the gauntlet if I had to make a bold prediction. But, you know, not crazy changes. I would argue that free agency just has been meh. Honestly, this entire rebuild, things have not gone our way. But as you look at our offense, everything pretty much remains intact from what we had last season. But we throw Kenny Golladay into the mix, which that's a big outside. He's a big outside guy, big jump ball guy. Him and Corey Davis similar. And then you have Elijah Moore in the slot. Zach Wilson up to an 85 star. The year that he got his superstar dev, which he had, what, high 30 touchdowns, low, like he was 6th, I think, in yards, 5th in touchdowns. We need another year like that. I don't know why that was such a anomaly of a season so far. And I gotta love Michael Carter being in the 90s. That's pretty cool. Then you look on the defense, front four remains the same. Linebacker core remains the same. We have Jerome Baker, who I'm actually going to shift to the outside. We'll make him our left outside linebacker, which his rating should go up here a little bit. Not too much. I'm not expecting much more than a point or two. Let's just take a little gander there as we shift him over there to take over for CJ Mosley. Actually, his rating doesn't go up anything. Stays as an 82. Safeties remain the same. And then obviously last season, hitting that X factor for Derek Stingley. Hopefully he just has an outrageous year, like 6-7 picks somewhere in that territory. But my gut is saying 10 wins. Wild card. I'll spin this one a lot just because it's cool. He's one of the staples, one of the face of the rebuild. Kayvon Thibodeaux, much like Stingley last year, has an opportunity against Philadelphia to go from superstar to a superstar X Factor. Let's see it. I mean, it's 7 overall points. Philly's not necessarily in our same area code in terms of talent. We do get the win, 28-21. And for Mr. Thibodeaux, unfortunately does not get his dev trait. Okay, so we get the 3-13 Bengals, 9-7, and when you look at it, especially in the we have to win this game. We are currently on the outside looking in for the playoffs. We might not even get it with 10 wins, and we'll have discussions if we don't get there. But let's just see, 9-7. I was just gonna say, if we didn't make the playoffs, I would have done a whole nother season. Because I like this Jets team. I like the way that they battled there to get us that victory. 24-21. Very, very quick victory. I think we are limping in the playoffs as the lowest seed. Okay, no. Finished ahead of the Colts. All right, the 6th seed in the AFC. Here in year 5 of the rebuild. Gonna have to run the gauntlet. We have Houston. But look at that discrepancy. 89 overall juggernaut team against 81. Like, that should be a fairly easy victory. And I already know that soundbite could be used against me here in probably about 15 minutes. But looking around the league, nothing too crazy, at least for our team. Looking at our squad, Zach Wilson's solid. 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, 12 picks. By all means, by all counts, it's not a bad year. 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns for Michael Carter. We have no 1,000-yard receivers, but our three-headed attack here, all very close to going over 1,000. And on the defensive side, Nakobe Dean led the team. 114 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 3 interceptions. We got 12.5 from Thibodeaux, 22 TFLs, 20 and 11.5 for Quinton Williams, 14 and 11.5 for John Franklin Myers. So that front forward's getting the job done. Interceptions, not so much. Really thought we'd get more, especially with Stingley being a superstar X Factor now. And we had the 31st offense in the NFL. I think that was like everyone else was just popping off. I don't think our offense was overly bad. Looking at award winners, it looks really big on the... Okay, I thought first... I went too fast. I was like, Deshaun Watson on the Patriots? Aaron Donald's on the Raiders now. That's cool, but yeah, it looks like Patriots had a hell of a year. 15-2, that'll do her. So now we got to start our gauntlet here against the 13-4 Texans as we try everything in our power to win a Super Bowl here at the buzzer with the New York Jets. All right, this is our opening drive. I'm on the 49. It could stall out here. I'll tell you right now. Top right. That's not J.J. Watt for the Texans. That's Aiden Hutchinson, and he has been absolutely crushing it. And there's a pick. I think that's Justin Reed. I mean, this team just, as much as I like this team, I just don't think they're just not going to be very overpowered. But the defense does get to stop. Let's go back in. Let's go Kenny Galladay. Come on, Galladay. Come on, like no separation. What? Was that a touch? That was the greatest turnout field I've ever seen. And the defense gets another stop. Oh, come on, Elijah Moore. This is you. Audible out of the run. Oh, but through the traffic. Reed could have got his second pick of the game. Didn't dive for it. And there we go. Extend our lead. Come on, the fumble. Jesus, man. Hutchinson is a beast. He's going to be the next guy that I really want to use in a rebuild, given how just outrageous he is right now. I don't know, man. 95 throw power feels like you should be able to dump that one in the basket. I don't hate that pass. I mean, he was running right with him, but my guy had a step. If it's just a little higher, dumps into Elijah Moore's hands, not picked off by Julian Love. And we're going into maybe be aggressive here, but it looks like going into halftime tied up at 14. Let's go, Disley. That helps. That helps. Woo! Get your blocks. Timeout. Oh, we're feeling the end zone here. Third touchdown of the game. Zach Wilson. What, did they get points? I feel like we gotta be aggressive here. I feel like I should take a shot. Like they're like, oh, they're gonna run the half out. Let's see if we can hit a deep ball here. And it's just that monster again. All right, we start off the second half, and they go all the way down and get a go-ahead score. I don't know if we want to run right at Hutchinson, but we'll try it. The one man again. There, man, he is. It's been as impressive as I remember of a performance. That wasn't cheese. Like you'll have occasional games where like doesn't matter who they are. The other team's D lineman's just like doing that like bull rush that's knocking your lineman on the ass, and you're like, I can't do anything. Hutchinson's not necessarily doing that, and he's still just making a play on every fucking play. Take the points. Defense gets a stop though, as we are tied at 24. Okay, Mulligan. Unbelievable. I mean, I'll say this, man. There's something about this Jets team that makes it just doesn't feel like that's a Super Bowl winning team. Like, and if it would have to be something like this, obviously I'm not playing the best right now, but I'd have to play every snap of almost every offensive play, every game along this long journey. You know, not good enough to win a Super Bowl. If I pretty much have to like spoon feed you a Super Bowl. And that's just, I don't know what it is. Is it the fact, like, lack of wide receivers? Like, the fact that you got Corey Davis and Kenny Galladay, like, two guys that are like, you know? The fact that, you know, you're not seeing Stingley 5-6 picks a year. We haven't had that. You haven't seen Thibodeaux, you know, perennial double-digit sack getter. It's just been an underwhelming rebuild with the name value players that we have. And I think it's been aided a little bit by the fact that we went through, what, 3 off seasons, where none of the big free agents we were overpaying for had any interest joining the Jets. I think that, honestly, was the turning point in this rebuild. The fact that we had multiple years where it was a light free agency class, maybe a guy maybe a guy or two that is worth getting in those free agency classes, and we were going in on them, and they weren't coming here. And I feel like that is the gap in talent that this Jets team's missed, that those other rebuilds we've done, they just had those guys. So let's go through a positive spot. We're just gonna end this and look at all the stats and see where it is. As we do, I don't think we win a fucking playoff game with this whole Jets team. Embarrassing. There's just no other way around it for how good this team is. But it's Madden, man. Very random. You never know what you're going to get. I mean, you saw 2 rebuilds ago. Year 1 with the Vikings. Kirk Cousins, we won the Super Bowl. You never know what you're going to get for better or for more often worse in Madden 22 franchise. So, I mean, I like this team too. That's the thing that's frustrating, man. Like, Zach Wilson was okay. I think that's fair to say. I mean, the fact that he got to a superstar was cool, but he never had MVP type season, never made like top 10 MVP. Maybe that's another reason why, you know, this rebuild just felt underwhelming is the only way to say it. For the team that as stacked as we had, 88s across the board. Why did everything feel so difficult? You know? I think that's like, why did we have 2 years there, year 3 and year 4, where we weren't making the playoffs? Why? What's going on there? Is it the playbook? A lot of things are tied to the playbook. That could be it. Michael Carter was a pleasant surprise, though. Through 5 full seasons, he has 5,600 rushing yards and 67 touchdowns to go along with 12, almost 1,300 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. Will Disley was solid. Elijah Moore, through 5 years, over 1,000 a year, 41 touchdowns. Again, you know, Davis was never... He was solid. It's just like... I can go back in time and just break down what happened. Zach Wilson never played like a top 10 MVP. You need to. You almost have to. What, he had 1 year, the one he got the superstar dev trait, and that was an anomaly. Running back was fine. I think for our receivers, we just missed someone. We had Elijah Moore in the slot, Corey Davis on the outside, and it just took us forever. And even Galladay's probably not that guy that, you know, and we swung and missed on Michael Gallup. He could have developed into something. We swung and missed this last window on DeAndre Hopkins. So we never had that true wide receiver 1. And you look at defense, as much as it pains me to say, you know, just the stars were not stars. Do 4 full years for Thibodeaux, 38.5 sacks. Like, I was expecting that to be 50, 60, somewhere in that range, right? You know, you get Derek Stingley. We're through, what, 4 years? He has 9 picks. X factor. Not good enough. Not, you know, the fact that you can get 7, 8 picks from a freaking middle linebacker every other year, but one of the best young lockdown corners is struggling to get above 2 interceptions, 2, 3 interceptions a season. That's not the game changer you're looking for on the back end. So, I mean, just self-scouting of why this Jets rebuild failed, and I think it's just Thibodeaux and Derek Stingley never truly became elite players. They were just good players. We never had an elite wide receiver 1. And just Zach Wilson didn't play like an MVP. And you need to play at least like a top 10 MVP 2 to 3 years of a 5-year rebuild. Unless you have an S-tier defense. And it wasn't like Stingley and Thibodeaux were really pulling their weight on the defense side. Like taking games over. Having number 3, 2, or 1 top-ranked defenses. We weren't having those either. So, you know, frustrating. Frustrating, but it is what it is. We went on a string of successful rebuilds with Super Bowls, and while I would have loved to win a Super Bowl here with the big names, the flashy names, the Thibodeaux, the Stingley, 2 top 3 picks at the first draft, it is what it is, man. You win some, you lose some. So let me know in the comment section below, fellas, what team you want to see me rebuild next in the comment section. I will do the top request team. Is it Houston? Houston's been a popular one. They have definitely been a popular one. I can consider it for sure, but I will go with what you guys are saying. As always, first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 150K very, very close. I think we're under 400 subs away, so that'd be dope if we can hit that sooner than later. And I'll see you guys back here on the next one. For likes, 1,000 likes, that'd be pretty dope on this video. But, said at the very beginning, we get 15K, we get 15,000. And 15,000, I mean 1,500. If we get 15,000, I'll do a realistic rebuild every day. But if we can get 1,500 likes, I'll have another realistic rebuild dropping on the weekend. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.